Quick note, I'll be in San Francisco for a campaign rally tomorrow, June 12th, and in Los Angeles on June 19th. Go to meetkevin.com to RSVP. It's free. Also, I'm going to start with technicals on AMC, and then I'm going to get into the latest regarding dark pools, $1,500 AMC, tweets, and a lot of other things going on. Let's go. Hey everyone, me Kevin here. We have a lot to talk about regarding AMC, a lot to unpackage, a lot that has occurred in the last couple days here, and I really want to provide some clarity, at least regarding my opinion on what the heck is going on with AMC and what to expect going forward. So first, let's start with some basic technicals. Okay, first technical catch up. We're going to mention that current share utilization is at 80.48%. Plenty of shares available to be borrowed. This does oftentimes reduce the need to see naked shorting happening, which potentially leads to less of a squeeze setup. Now, that doesn't mean we don't want to still hodl. I'm still hodling my shares, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what my share count looks like, and I'm working on picking up some new potential call options so I can try to maximize my gains. And so I'm waiting for the perfect entries on those. So anyway, right now we've got short interest estimated at about 11.77% on Ortex. We do have S3 Partners showing this at us a little bit larger. S3 Partners has them listed at about 13.48% right now. You can see the bar right here. It has dropped substantially from its about 24-ish% at the beginning, or rather, I should say the end of May. Now, obviously, we know to be very skeptical with this data. Yesterday, we saw this data go literally, for some reason, up to 19% and then drop back down to 13%. It was a big disaster. We get screwed by the data. And so I take all of this with a grain of salt. But what I don't take with a grain of salt is what's actually happening in the space of price action when it comes to AMC. This, to me, is something that's very important, because as we know, this is a momentum trading stock, which is a way of saying that technicals matter a lot. Technicals and support lines matter dramatically. And what's interesting here is we've had a little bit of we had a strong start in terms of price action, but we had very miserable volume. On the 1 minute chart, we were at about 7.9 mil in volume. We've generally on the first minute been well above 10 million. I mean, there were days we were above 30, 40, 50 million on the first minute share volume. And so volume was substantially low in the first minute, covered that live, and on the channel live I mentioned volume's looking a little low today. This is not a good start. First 5 minutes also didn't look too well. We go on over to the first 5 minutes. We had a first 5 minute total of 12.4 mil. That's like a low first minute. A pretty bad first 5. So volume was not great. And so what's happening here is not only are we getting this sort of consolidation in pricing, which we've seen throughout the day. We've bobbed around, about 1% up to about 4% up. Right now, we're about 2% at the time of this recording, consolidating between two lines that we've drawn here. We've got a support line at about 41.36, and we've got one at 50.85. Begs the question if potentially there's a new support here, but right now we are seeing an increasing trend within these supports. So I'm paying attention to this trajectory right here. Good trajectory. We want to watch it for the day. See if we see a dip below this, below the VWAP. Maybe there'd be an opportunity to pick up a call. If I do pick up a call option, though, I'm going to go for a longer call. Probably going to go Jan 2022. The reason for that is the theta decay on the 2 weeks is very dangerous. I had a theta decay problem yesterday. I added to AMC yesterday with a call option based on the short interest data skyrocketing. I got bluntly screwed. We talked about this yesterday, and they changed the short interest data. AMC stock started falling. And the problem with a call option that expires, for example, June 18th, which is a week from today, which is what I had, is the theta decay robs me of today about 3% per day that I'm holding this. And that's a big issue. That hurts in options. So I'm looking for a Jan 2022 that would give me some more flexibility, because I do think we're going through this period of consolidation, which is something that I mentioned would be very, very likely between, I mentioned this last Friday, I mentioned this on Monday, I mentioned it on Tuesday. You could go back and watch my videos. I said I believe AMC is going to set up for a period of lower volume consolidation because of the technicals we were seeing. And that's exactly what's happened the last 3 days. Now, I'm not a psychic. I'm just reading the technicals. I'm just reading the market. This is the kind of stuff that we talk about on the channel. And as always, you can check out the link down below for the amazing programs where you get 40% off all my psychology of stocks and psychology psychology of money, buying and making money with stocks. But for right now, we've got a lot more to talk about with AMC beyond just the technicals. And while I am looking for a Jan 22 call option, I have not made a decision on exactly when to strike and at what pricing I'm going to strike yet. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe and get more details. Now, let's get into a very important update here. Now, before we get to Citadel and the new Adam Aaron tweets and some of the other things going on with AMC, I want to show you this because it's very important. It's very, very, very important to see what happened here. I posted this video 2 days ago on June 9th, and I want you to be aware of some of the commentary regarding this because it's something you have to be very, 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 very careful of. And I'm saying this as somebody who loves this community, who loves this movement. I am a diamond hand man. I absolutely love the movement, and I hate the hedgies. I'm so wanting to be a part of this movement, but I also want to be very, very clear. When I see something, I'm going to tell you, even if it's not the most bullish thing ever. Listen to this, rather, because it's all it says here is the average stock holding for AMC is about 120 shares, which again, if we do 4.1 million times 120 shares, we're still missing about 10 million shares. And folks are saying, oh, it must be the naked shorts. It must be, the fake Fugazi shares or whatever. Maybe. That is possible. But here are two potential alternates. What if they rounded down? And see, once you get to about 122.39 shares per 4.1 million people, you end up getting right to about 501 million shares outstanding. Now, I'm going to pause this because I just wanted to point this out to you that this is something indeed we talked about on June 9th, which is very, very important because we literally broke down exactly what was in the Adam Aaron tweet, line by line, and we compared it to the press statement. And I made the conclusion that the most likely scenario is that all of the 4.1 million shareholders, the individual shareholders, included all institutions, hedge funds, and individual investors. And we made the conclusion that it was most likely that they rounded the share count down to about 120 because they literally said about 120 in the tweet. In fact, I even put a quote around it right here. When we look, average stock holding is 120 shares. Watch me make this modification in the video. We go back to his tweet. We make the modification in the video. And I write in here, boom, average stock holding is about 120. Like, this is a public video from 2 days ago. You can see this, okay? But what's very important is if you scroll down, this is the kind of commentary you want to be careful of. So just type in filing, and here you go. Mitch Struth, okay? This is very, very important. Hey, Kevin, not trying to be rude. You really need to read the filing if you're going to talk on it with your huge audience. This is right from the filing. It says 4.1 million individual investors. Yes, but people don't understand, and this is what I was trying to convey in the video, that individual investors can mean entities and human beings, like individual retail investors. And the reason we concluded that, well, you can watch the video, but the reason we concluded that difference is because they, in one sentence, define individual investors as owning 4.1 million shares, and then separately go further into defining an individual investor as a retail investor, implying the umbrella of individual investors, which is also something we talked about in this video. But take a look at some of the commentary. He's a shill. You're definitely right. He failed to read the whole press and only focused on Adam's words in the document, which is not true. I literally showed the press release, which is less important than the real official information. Let's get on top of this. We need to know everyone, whatever. Okay, this person agrees that it's kind of confusing. I thought individual investors to mean individuals such as retail as well as institutional. So this person gets it and agrees. And then here you go. He is indirectly creating FUD. I didn't own AMC and GME as of now, or I don't as of now, but I can tell when someone is trying to lie, manipulate, and make FUD. Shame on you, Kevin, and to his audience. You gotta be kidding me. Really? So somebody who sold out of AMC because he says, I don't own AMC and GME right now, is saying, I'm creating FUD. I'm creating FUD. Trying to teach what I believe is happening, and here I am, hodling $61,000 of shares, and you're telling me, shame on me. Folks, this is the kind of commentary you gotta be extremely careful of. Extremely, extremely careful. Look at this. He's a mole. His tune changed greatly over the last day. I might listen to him when I need a tax write-off. Like the jade here, level like 10 out of 10 jade, right? But I stick with my guns. I stick with my beliefs because when I make these conclusions, I don't pull them out of my ass. I say these things because I believe them to be true. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm always gonna provide you what I believe. Even if that's bad news. I'm gonna be the person who gives you bad news. I'm not just gonna give you good news. I'm not just your hype man. Adam Aaron, today, well actually last night tweeted, it was a global count, not just shares held by those in the US and Canada. The summary numbers were accurately rounded. We said that about, not exactly 4.1 million holders, each owned on average about, not precisely, 120 shares. The numbers added up correctly. Folks, slow clap. Come on. Come on. You don't have to be a shill to point out what's probably the real truth. The issue is, and the reason people get so upset about me having pointed out that they probably just rounded, which is literally what Aaron says is what they did. CEO literally says that and literally reiterates that the share count of 4.1 million includes individuals and institutions. It's literally what we predicted because I've been around the block. I get this stuff. But the point is that people were upset with me saying that this was probably the case because they wanted to believe that 10 million shares were naked shorts or some kind of Fugazi magic, and they wanted to believe that that was going to be another catalyst for AMC going up. This is the problem. I don't want to mislead you with fake potential catalysts. What we need at AMC is a real catalyst and volume. Volume is plummeting within the day. Volume has been plummeting over the last few days. This isn't FUD, it's an observation. We need a real AMC catalyst to pump the price again. A real catalyst could be a huge doubling down of the shorts, where maybe the thing goes down to $30, but all of a sudden short interest pumps up to 25, and we're like, oh my gosh, they reloaded. They're loading up for another shorts. Let's go squeeze them again. That's a real catalyst. AMC coming in with better than expected earnings, or paying off all their debt like GameStop did, or coming up with some new innovative concept for their theaters. Those are real catalysts. But let me tell you another thing, and this is just bothering me right now. And keep in mind, if you want to learn like my perspective, how I think like this ahead of time, so that way we can make decisions and be properly prepared, do check out the Stocks and Psychology of Money program. It's really informative. It's going to help you a lot. Kind of re-look at how you think about money, how you think about stocks, and how you think about news and critical thinking. So here's another example for you. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and jump on over to this. This is a tweet stream. The Emily account. Now I'm gonna show you this first. Okay. Emily, people are like, hey, how do we know we can trust you? How do we know you work at Citadel? Well, then post this. It's true, all of it. Writes on a piece of paper at the Emily account, posts her mask of Citadel Securities, which, you know, I mean, I believe that. I do believe that. I do believe this person works at Citadel. These are some pretty intimate pictures here of, well, you know, I mean, a shirt showing a Citadel logo and a Citadel mask. I guess they're not really that intimate, but the point is, they do appear to indicate that somebody works at Citadel. Now, the bigger question is why somebody would say these things, okay? And this is, I think, where we have to be a little bit more critical. Not so much as to whether or not the person is faking actually being there, but why somebody would say this. Emily, listen, I'm not really supposed to be sharing this, but here goes. Everyone here, Cit Security, is worried about the retail collusion. Our volatility engines are totally broken, and the sequencer is overflowing. People are scared for their jobs. Even Ken is in the office lately. So my initial reaction is, oh, wow, cool. Like, that sounds awesome for the retail movement, right? But then I'm like, wait a minute. This almost sounds too good to be true, to where I doubt it substantially. Like, I'm like 90%, this is like somebody trying to pull your leg. I like, this is, especially since AMC has come down, and this was posted yesterday, especially since AMC is down from 70. I mean, it's one thing if it was still sitting at 70 and it was squeezing up to 100, but the darn thing's been coming down. So the pain has stopped, so, or at least been reduced. So why would this still be true? I don't know. It seemed a little too much. And then we didn't think we would have to cover so many shorts. We went from 20% short interest to like 13% short interest. Now maybe that's a lie, right? But I don't know. It just feels a little, too good to be playing into the retail investors' sort of speculations, especially, and the dark pools are becoming thinner by the minute due to pricing mismatches. And this is a crisis like I've never seen in my 3 years in the industry. And so, in other words, there's a lot of this going on. And now when you look up this person's account, it's set to private. It says the account doesn't exist. It just seems a little too fantastic. Along with, now there are these pictures floating around of, in the dark pools, the last price for AMC is $1,533. I mean, I can inspect Element and put whatever price I want there. I honestly, I don't believe the tweet. I suppose it's useful to quickly mention what dark pools are. Dark pools are essentially a way for institutions to trade shares amongst each other without going through an exchange. It's just sort of a background opportunity to say, hey, I'll sell you 1 million shares. Do you want to buy them at this price? And it's just a way to have this transaction occur without the price plummeting on the open market, which is obviously bad for one person on one side of the trade. It's generally meant for larger blocks of shares. Sometimes it can be done over time, but it generally mirrors what we see with market pricing, to be fair to both people in the transaction, right? I mean, like, for the dark pool price to be $1,500, that implies that some institution is like, oh yeah, I'll pay $1,500 per share. Why? Like, I could just swipe up on Robinhood and get it for $42. You know what I mean? So to me, that I don't see that. And there's enough volume to where even if you wanted to buy millions of shares, you could do that. Buy millions of shares right now. Sure, the price will pump, but it's not going to go to $1,500 if somebody came in right now and bought 5 million shares. I mean, you're talking about 5 minutes worth of volume. Yeah, it's going to be a jump. You're going to have a temporary bump in price, but not to $1,500. So I don't believe that. Now, I also want to be very clear here. When I provide insight on this channel, and the subscribers I provide insight to, the people who subscribe to this channel, I believe that you want the truth, and you want the news, whether it's good news or bad news. That you're not just here to go, oh, this doesn't sound super optimistic, shill, FUD, suit, this, that, or whatever. You're here to know my perspective and my belief on things. My belief is that the dark pool pricing is fake. My belief is that tweet is fake. My belief is that the naked shorting is way overstated, especially with the share utilization we have available now. I think naked shorting happened when the squeeze that we have seen was going on. I believe that. But I think a lot of that dust has settled now. And I think what AMC needs right now going forward is a big positive catalyst to create volume again. In the meantime, I am concerned that folks are going to continue to get distracted with other stocks, other momentum-based stocks. We've sort of been seeing that in the last few days. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't invest in the other momentum stocks because, hey, look, if you could swing trade the other things and make money, great. But this is exactly what happened after GME. The momentum phase lost momentum because we started spreading out. The buckshot of the shotguns, so to speak, started going in many different directions. And this is what we saw 2 days ago when I closed all my options, with the exception of the AMC that I opened and closed recently. When I closed all my momentum options and took my profits, because we saw the technicals indicating a decline in momentum. And so that's very important. So anyway, my thoughts, if you like this kind of perspective, check out the programs, link down below. You will be blown away with the perspective you get, especially if you're even considering ever owning a house. Folks, get into that real estate investing group. Get into the property management rental renovations group. Get into the how to make YouTube videos course if you want to make some extra money. And get into the stocks and psychology of money group. Use that 40% off coupon code link down below. And folks, we'll see you in the next one.